Hello, my name is Shirley Self, and I'm here to talk astrology. Tonight I want to continue my talk about the journey of the soul according to William Butler Yeats, and I have come to moon phase 14. Moon phase 14 is just before the full moon. Those last 13 degrees just before the full moon is a moon phase 14. And we're in the It is one of the rectangle of the actualization of potentials. All about potentials. Moon phase 14 is putting the finishing touches on the new will that was virtually created in moon phase 12. Starting to bring to light in moon phase 13, and in moon phase 14 is self-perfection, the finishing phase before the glory unveiling of the full moon at moon phase 15. So here you're virtually in the darkness before the dawn, and it feels like it. These people here are fearful, contrary, and up here, self-obsessed. Their body of fate is over here at 2, where begin energy, where the energy of the Demogorgon was dumped in on the physical level. And so these people are afflicted and blessed with a great deal of physical energy, but it is disruptive and chaotic and restless. And like moon phase 2, moon phase 14 has to indulge in a lot of monotonous hard work just to tame that energy. Now, phase 2 was encouraged to do something called aimless wandering in order to allow it to explore and to discover the potentials of its energies, to discover the width, breadth, and depth of the new energies that come with this new will, a new cycle. But so moon phase 14 loves to aimlessly wander too, and it is no longer useful. It is 14 will do aimless wandering simply to dissipate the energy instead of focusing that energy on whatever the work is at hand. So the aimless wandering is something that is a great joy to 14. But tends to be a waste of time. These people are solitary. These are, Yeats called moon phase 11 half solitary. Moon phase 12 the same. People who were solitary but didn't want to be. Moon phase 13 knows it's alone, and so does 14. These are, but we need solitude. I'm referring to myself as a moon phase 14. We need solitude in order to be creative, in order to reflect on experience and to analyze our own behavior. So solitude has become very, very important. And so solitude comes to us from the mask over here at Pisces in the Scorpio decanate. But solitude can absolutely take over these phases because the job seems to be so difficult, and the world outside does not accept. Well, these people are so self-obsessed, so self-absorbed that and contrary, that the world doesn't particularly understand what's going on with these people, and it can be a rough go out in the world. And that's just the nature of the thing. Violence comes from moon phase 2, the body of fate. The body of fate for people over here brings with it negative stuff. Good stuff? Yeah, but the negative side of that is very apparent. And violence tends to be attracted to moon phase 14 and is very attractive to moon phase 14, who loves violence, who loves violence in nature. I'm a football fan myself. I know, it's odd, but there it is. So what can happen with this violence is that these people can become isolated due to fear of the world. And that means the mask has taken over. And this will happen over here. The mask can virtually take over and isolate these people because the world is a scary, scary place out there. So the goal here is to isolate the mind from the world, not the body. Isolate the mind to become independent. As 13 had to become emotionally independent, 14 needs to become intellectually independent. The imagination has gotten incredibly interesting by moon phase 14. And so they're never bored. We're never bored by ourselves. Our thinking is exceedingly interesting. And we need to be alone in order to work on ourselves. So we can be elusive. We just, God willing, do not need to be isolated. Do not need to go to, well, Leonard Cohen, who was a moon phase 13, spent a lot of time on Mount Shasta. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But that's the tendency in these moon phases, is to find a refuge. Nature. Nature is a wonderful refuge for these people. These pantheists here, virtually. God is many. And nature is a source of joy and refuge for people in the water quarter. Okay. Now, the body of fate, this source of our incredible energy, brings us chaos and violence, and and because we love violence and are subject to violence, when we turn our rage against ourselves, we are 14. I'm talking about moon phase 14. Violent against the self. 13 and 14 are especially prone to turning their rage on themselves. Their self-judgment is so powerful and will not let go. Well, we're in Virgo here, and Virgo is, I'm sorry, critical and judgmental, and it's the nature of the beast over there at 13 and 14. So when we're out of phase, we have no self-confidence, and because others don't understand us, we are lonely, we're misunderstood, we're apprehensive, and all that fear will destroy our creativity and turn us into cold, evasive, capricious, all the negativity of Pisces with the Scorpio bent, and all the what would you say, arrogant withdrawal that happens with Aquarius. So fearfulness, failure, that promotes our self-hatred, and because rage and brutality is our body of fate, and we tend to become easily enraged, especially toward people in our immediate environment. We can idealize the world, but people in the immediate environment tend to irritate us, and we're hard to live with. It's just the way it is. So what we have to learn to do is to balance the life of necessity, the life, virtually taking care of yourself and doing your job and stuff, with the life of the imagination, which is where we love to live. We love to live right there in the imagination. Here's, let me show you the Kabbalah. Okay, here we have the Kabbalah, and the card for moon phase 14 is the High Priestess. High Priestess. And she's right here connecting the heart, the sun, to the Most High, Kether. So the High Priestess is ruled by the moon, and she is vibration. She is the vibration of your name that results in the physical, what do you call it? The vibration of your name is not my name, Shirley, but the name that God gave you, the word that is you. This is her, the vibration of the name that produces you, that results in your settling out of Neptune, of the primal fluids. So anyway, that didn't come off very well. But anyway, she's wonderful. She's divine reconciliation. She's crossing the abyss, and the Hebrew letter for this is Gimel, which means camel, and that means in your crossing the desert, you better be carrying your own water, and you're going to purge. Think of being on a camel. Think of being on a camel crossing the desert. The first thing that goes, is the lipstick and the makeup and the probably later on, the jewelry and the extra coat and then the shoes, and you're crossing the desert and you don't want to carry any extra baggage. And so this is a purge. It is a purge of all that is inappropriate to you, because at the full moon, ta-da, you want to be the complete new person that the ideal has brought you to. So the High Priestess is also the hidden religion as versus the outer religion. That's esoteric religion versus the exoteric religion. She's the journey across the abyss. And that is the card for 14 and 28. And here's the card for 2 and 16, the body of fate and the creative genius. And the sun, as you know, is the head or the beginning. And this is all about gaining through experience. It's also about the fertility of the union of the lunar mind with the solar mind. This is highest level of the human intellect is right here. The highest level of the human intellect, as this is the highest level of the human human emotional intellect, of the human emotions. Anyway, so the sun has everything to do with the discovery of your potential personal power, which is moon phase 2. So here we've got a moon phase 14. We got some wonderful moon phase 14s, and this is Donald Trump. His information: he was born 14 June 1946 at 10:54 a.m. in Jamaica, New York. All right. Notice the ascendant is conjunct Regulus. The ascendant in the 29th degree is conjunct Regulus. He's got a bunch of air and fire. So it's a chart of impulse and chaos, and with no earth to help him focus that or to turn that into any kind of productive power. His water, you'll notice he's got a stellium in Cancer in the 11th house, but that's intercepted. And this moon itself, which rules that stellium, is got the south node conjunct. So here's an example of a moon phase 14 who can't think for himself. He has more faith in his family. He's got that at the south node in Sag is conjunct the family. He's got more faith in his family than in himself. I think he had a hard relationship with the mother. The moon rules that Venus Saturn conjunction up there in the 11th house, and he's got Chiron down there in the 2nd house. Now Chiron in the 2nd house is a wounding to self-worth, self-value, and he's got it in Libra, which is again ruled by Venus, and so that is again talking about the wounding to the feminine nature, to wounding of his own value, his own loving nature. And so Trump is one of those interesting people who take on the mask. The mask overpowers the will. He's the descendant is more important with this man than the ascendant. I think the ascendant scares him. He has not got the self-control to use this powerful ascendant to its full abilities. He's become the desired object. He spends all his time checking on to make sure that people love him. He needs approval. He needs the approval of the family. He's still working on what he missed when he was a kid, which is the loving appreciation of his family. But that Saturn-Venus conjunction is, and it's up there in his house of goals, and that is his goal, is for his family to find him valuable. The Mars, as on that ascendant, is square the midheaven, and that's I think that is his failure to use his powers, his unpredictability, his failure to be the leader that this country needs. Is damaging his public standing. That's the square to the midheaven. He's got some. He's got a Uranus septile Pluto. Now septiles, as I pointed out before, have to do with changing the future or leaving something for the future, creating something that is valuable to the future, or destroying, like George W. Bush had a septile that sent him off to Iraq to destroy Iraq. What's interesting about Donald Trump's septile between Uranus and Pluto is that Pluto is parallel Mercury, and they're both out of bounds. I find that disturbing. So that's Donald Trump. Some of Donald Trump. I'm sure there's more to come. And here's Joseph Ratzinger, Benedict the 16th. This is the Pope who resigned and left us with the Pope that everybody pretty much loves. Notice the South Node up there in on the midheaven, the South Node in Capricorn. This shows a tremendous ambition of the man. And the Saturn, which rules that South Node, is over there in Sagittarius in the house of religion. We've got an Aries here, and his creative genius is down there with the with his sun. His creative genius is at 15 Aries. His body of fate is over there, conjunct the moon at 15 Libra. So here's a man, look at that Jupiter, Mercury conjunction on the ascendant. This is a powerful spiritual, personal spiritual journey this man is taking. And that Jupiter rules the midheaven too. The Saturn up there makes him conservative and ambitious, which is in opposition to his need. The creative genius is over here in solitary 15 degrees Aries. Need to be alone. Need to be alone. The Uranus is also in Aries in the first house, and it rules that 12th house of retiring from public whatever. And so this put him in a real dilemma. That Mars out of bounds right there, down there on the descent on the nadir at 29, in that powerful 29th degree, is it's out of bounds, and that energy carried him right up to the top, almost inadvertently. And when he got up there, I think he woke up to the fact that he was in the wrong job. His job is personal liberation. His job is freedom of thought, and to go along with the way things have been is not good for a moon phase 14, and that's body of fate over there conjunct his moon made him really vulnerable to other people's wishes and other people's ideas, and that his moon is squared to Pluto, and it's what's called a partile square. It means it's tight. And so I think that there might have been some personal involvement in sexual abuse scandals, that maybe he knew more than he wanted to know and did not know how to deal with that. It's hard for moon phase 12, 13, 14, well, that includes 10 and 11. It's hard for people in a water quarter to lie to themselves. And so I think that's why Benedict decided to become Joseph Ratzinger again. So we've got wonderful moon phase 14s. Isadora Duncan was a moon phase 14. Tonya Harding. And I think maybe Nancy Kerrigan was a moon phase 14 too. She's right on the cusp. Who else do we have moon phase 14s? Well, I forgot to haul them over here, so you're never going to know. Oh, John Brown, who did his best to start the Civil War, was a moon phase 14. Roy Rogers. I admired Roy Rogers when I was a kid. Good movies. And Isaac Newton. Now, Isaac Newton was, you should read the biography of Isaac Newton. It was interesting, and he was cranky and suspicious and paranoid and uncooperative. A typical moon phase 14. And who else? And Sophia Loren, a beautiful woman. So that's moon phase 14. We have completed one journey up the Kabbalah. Let me show you Robert Wang's picture of the completed Philosopher's Stone. Okay, that is 2 journeys up the tree. 2 journeys up the tree. And so we've completed one. And when you come to moon phase 15, moon phase 15 will be at the top, at the Magus. And the issue is to come down and start again. And that's the difficulty of moon phase 15. So we've come to, we've finished the private part and are coming into the public part. This is the darkness, and this is the dawn. This is the day. So, next time, moon phase 15. Until then, may God bless you. Bye-bye.